Hello everyone, it's time to study The Tempest Act 3, Scene 3. Act 3, Scene 3 is more complex than the previous two scenes, but don't worry, I'll try to simplify this for you. We will also discuss the key elements of this scene, like the banquet, the consequence of the banquet, and the three sinners, and the emotional stage of Alonso as well. And as the scene opens, we have characters like Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, Adrian, and Francisco. The king, Alonso, and his courtiers are weary and despondent. And the scene begins with Gonzalo's speech, and he is speaking to Alonso. By our Latin, by our lady king, a mild form of the oath by a lady. I can go no further. Gonzalo is too tired to go any further. Sir, my old bones aches. Who is Sir? Gonzalo addresses Alonso as Sir. My old bones aches. His bones are aching. Well, his bones are not old. It is Gonzalo who is old. Here's a maze, a network of paths, trod indeed through forthrights. The meaning of forthrights, straight paths and meanders, winding ways. By your patience, I needs must rest me. Alonso, O Lord, I cannot blame thee. The meaning of thee is you. And who is the O Lord here? He is Gonzalo. And why can't Alonso blame Gonzalo? Because he himself is attached with weariness, tiredness. The word attached is significant, and the meaning is seized, and this is a legal metaphor. Dulling of spirits. He is totally dispirited. He is exhausted physically and emotionally also. He is feeling despondent. And dulling means exhaustion. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off my hope. Here he will abandon hope and keep it no longer to flatter himself. And why is it so? Before that, what is the meaning of flatterer? Deceiver. He will not let hope deceive him anymore. That is, he is hopeless now. And why has he given up hope? Because he has realized, he has come to a conclusion perhaps, that he is drowned. Who is drowned? His son Ferdinand is drowned, whom thus we stray to find. And they are trying to find Ferdinand. This is the purpose. And the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. The meaning of the word frustrate is useless, futility of the search. Well, let him go. Antonio, aside to Sebastian. Now, check the description box and you will get a video link where I explain what is a soliloquy, what is an aside, literary devices used in The Tempest. You will get everything in detail over there. Kindly check that. I am right glad. He is very happy that he is so out of hope. Alonso is so hopeless and frustrated. Do not go for one repulse. Forego the purpose that you resolve to effect. So the meaning of the word repulse is setback. That is the sudden waking of the king and Gonzalo in Act 2, Scene 1, line 305. Here, Antonio is telling to Sebastian that just because of one disappointment, do not give up the plan that you have resolved to carry out. What is that plan? They have decided, they have conspired, hatched a conspiracy to kill Alonso. Sebastian, aside to Antonio, the next advantage will we take truly. The meaning of truly is thoroughly. And what is Sebastian's reply? The next opportunity will be utilized by them and they will kill Alonso. Aside to Sebastian, nobody can hear them. Let it be tonight. So they planned to assassinate, to murder Alonso that night. For now they are oppressed with travail. Now that they are fatigued with their efforts, They will not nor cannot use such vigilance. They will not see us. They will not observe us carefully as when they are fresh. If they are fresh, if they are energetic, if they are filled with vitality, they will be very active and they will observe our actions. But now that they are so tired and exhausted, they will overlook a lot of things that we will do. They will not notice anything. Sebastian, aside to Antonio, I say tonight, no more. Solemn and strange music and Prospero on the top invisible. Keep this in mind. Prospero is invisible. Banquet scene. Now this is very, very important. You will have to learn the banquet, the significance of the banquet properly. Alonso, what harmony is this, my good friends? Hark. Gonzalo, marvelous sweet music. Now mark these words. Marvelous sweet music is uttered by Gonzalo and Alonso asks, what harmony is this, my good friends? And what happens right after this? Enter several strange shapes ringing in a banquet and dance about it with gentle actions of salutation and inviting the king, etc. to eat. They depart. Well, Prospero is overseeing this action from the highest point of the stage, probably the musician's gallery. Nobody can see him, but he can see everybody. And this banquet has been caused by Prospero's magic. Prospero uses the illusion of the banquet to remind the men of how hungry and desperate they are. Very, very important, the significance of the banquet. Several, various. And banquet, what is a banquet? A buffet of wine, fruit and sweets. Alonso, give us kind keepers. Meaning of kind keepers, guardian angels. Heavens, what were these? He is surprised. Sebastian, a living drollery. Very, very important. Meaning of living drollery is live entertainment show or a puppet show with living actors. I will believe that there are unicorns. What will Sebastian believe in? That there are unicorns. And what is a unicorn? A unicorn is a mythical horse with one horn in the center of its forehead. That in Arabia there is one tree, the phoenix throne, one phoenix at this hour reigning there. Now, the phoenix is a mythical Arabian bird which lived alone and perched on a solitary tree. After 100 years, it expired in flames and rose again from its ashes. Here is the picture of a phoenix. Sebastian will believe in unicorns as well as phoenix, and Antonio also will believe both, that is unicorns and the phoenix. And what does else want credit? Anything else that's unbelievable, anything else that is incredible, come to me and I will be shown it is true. Travelers never did lie, though fools at home condemned them. According to Antonio, foreign travelers were never liars, though fools at home discredit them. Gonzalo, if in Naples, I should report this now. This is what? The sudden appearance of the banquet and the spirits. Would they believe me if I should say I saw such islanders? For certes, certainly, these are people of the island, who though they are of monstrous shape. Keep this in mind, the appearance, monstrous shape. They look like monsters, yet note, but there is a difference, and what is it? Their manners are more gentle kind, that is, they are more well-bred. Than of our human generation you shall find many, nay, almost any. According to Gonzalo, these monsters are more gentle and kind in their manners than many human beings, than any human being. An ironical statement, I must say. Prospero, honest Lord. Who is honest Lord? It is Gonzalo. This is also an aside. Thou hast said well. You have said well. Well said, Gonzalo. For some of you there present are worse than devils. Who are some of you? Antonio, Alonso, and Sebastian. Antonio and Sebastian are now hatching a conspiracy once again against Alonso, and in the past, Alonso, Antonio, Sebastian had conspired against Prospero, so they are worse than devils. What does this line signify? That Prospero is angry with them, that he has a grudge against them, and he wants to teach them a lesson. Alonso, I cannot too much muse, marvel, such shapes, such gesture, such sound expressing, although they want the use of tongue, although they cannot speak, a kind of excellent dumb discourse. This is an alliterative expression, excellent dumb discourse. Now, Alonso is in no position to wonder at such shapes, such movements, and such sounds as they made. For though they have not the power of speech, their wishes excellently by silent signs. Dumb discourse, silent signs. Prospero, praise in departing. Keep your praises until the end, a proverbial expression. Prospero, again this is an aside, keep this in mind because nobody can see Prospero. Francisco, who says this? Now we find Francisco speaking. They vanished strangely. Who said this? Francisco. They vanished strangely. The spirits vanished, disappeared. Sebastian, no matter, since they have left their vines behind, for we have stomachs, vines, food, and for we have stomachs. What is the meaning of stomachs? Again, come to the annotation, the glossary. Good appetites. We are hungry. Will it please you taste of what is here? Alonso, not I. Faith, sir, you need not fear. When we were boys, who would believe that there were mountaineers dewlapped like bulls, whose throats had hanging at them wallets of flesh? What is the meaning of mountaineers? Mountain dwellers, dewlapped. The word meaning of dewlapped is with folds of skin hanging from their throats. Wallets, wattles. Here, Gonzalo says, when we were boys, who would have believed that there existed a race of mountain people with a fold of loose skin hanging from the throat as a bull has, or that there were men who had their heads in their breasts. In Othello, Shakespeare also alluded to men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders. So here, he is trying to convince Alonso that such strange things happen and there is no need to be afraid of the feast, of the food. Next, or that there were such men whose heads stood in their breasts, which now we find. Each putter out of 5 for 1 will bring us good warrant of. Now, the meaning is, Gonzalo's expression refers to a form of insurance available to travelers who could deposit a sum of money with the broker before departing on their adventures. This would be repaid 5-fold on their return with proof that the expedition had been successful. Meaning, such incredible stories, a traveler who is heavily insured for a long and hazardous journey will bring to us with their guarantee of truth. Alonso, I will stand to and feed, although my last meal. No matter, since I feel the best is past. Here, Alonso feels that all that life made worthwhile is no more, because he has lost his son Ferdinand. Brother, my lord, the Duke, stand to and do as we. Thunder and lightning. Thunder and lightning is important. The stage direction is important because it creates an appropriate atmosphere, an eerie atmosphere for the appearance of Ariel in the form of a harpy. He claps his wings upon the table, and with a quaint device, the banquet vanishes. Significance of the disappearance of the banquet. Who is a harpy? What is a harpy? The harpies were monsters with the wings and talons of birds, but with the faces of women. With a quaint device, by some ingenious mechanism, the banquet, the feast, the food disappeared. What is the significance of this disappearance of the banquet? The banquet's sudden disappearance shows the courtiers how powerless they are. You are three men of sin, three sinners. Who are these three sinners? Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian, whom destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it. Lower world, mortal world, and all that is in it. Destiny, which uses as its instrument this mortal world and all in it, has caused the never surfeited sea, the never satisfied sea, hath caused to belch up you, to throw you up on this island. And what kind of island is this? Where man doth not inhabit, uninhabited island. You amongst men, being most unfit to live. Ariel accuses them of being unfit to live in human civilization. He calls them sinners. He also calls them being most unfit to live. This is a revelation, and this is a very, very important moment in this play. I have made you mad. Who has made these three men mad, enchanted, bewitched? It is Ariel. And what has brought them on this island? It is destiny. Keep these minute details in mind. I have made you mad, and even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. Such like valor, insane courage, proper own. This speech is very important. So who makes them mad? It is Ariel. And who makes them come to this island? It is destiny. You must keep this in mind. Alonso, Sebastian, etc. draw their swords. You fools, I and my fellows, my companions, are agents of fate, ministers of fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered. What are these elements? Earth and fire. The swords are made from metal taken out of the earth and refined, tempered by the action of fire. But earth and fire have no power against wind and water. Are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with be mocked at stabs, kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. Dowel, the word meaning is filament, smallest part of a feather. Still closing, closing as soon as they are parted. Be mocked at, derisory, so hateful. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. You cannot hurt them. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy, too heavy, too weighty for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. You will not be able to lift your swords. But remember, for that's my business to you. What is the purpose of Ariel's visit? Sudden appearance. That you three, specifically you three, Alonso, Sebastian and Antonio from Milan, did supplant, did overthrow. Good Prospero, honorable Prospero, exposed unto the sea which hath requite it. You threw Prospero and his innocent daughter to the sea, and that very sea is now taking her revenge on you. Him and his innocent child. Who is the innocent child? Miranda. For which foul deed? What is the foul deed? Usurpation. of Prospero. The powers delaying, the heavenly powers have delayed the judgment, but they have not forgotten the punishment, have incensed, have stirred up the seas and shores, have made the seas and shores turbulent, yea, all the creatures against your peace. All the creatures are now against your peace and safety. Thee of thy son, you of your son Alonso, they have bereft. That is, they have bereaved, deprived. You have lost your son Ferdinand as a consequence of the evil deeds which you committed in the past. And do pronounce by me lingering perdition. It is true, Ariel, that the heavenly powers are delivering the punishment, the justice, gradual, slow destruction, which is worse than any death can be at once. Slow destruction of peace, slow killing is worse than sudden death. Shall step by step attend you and your way. So this judgment will gradually, step by step, attend you and your ways. Everything you do will be affected. Whose wraths? The meaning of whose wraths? Everything you do, and then we have whose wraths? The torments of lingering perdition. To guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle, barren island, else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart's sorrow, sorrow and repentance, and a clear life ensuing. A blameless life. Clear life is blameless life. How can you save yourself? How can you beg for mercy? By being sorrowful, by accepting your crime, evil deeds, and then by repenting, and thereby leading a clear, blameless life. This is the only way by which you can save yourself. He vanishes in thunder. Ariel vanishes in thunder. What happens after that? Soft music is played, and the shapes, the monstrous shapes, the non-human shapes enter again, and they dance with mocks and mows. What is this? The meaning of this alliterative expression is grimaces, frowning, and carrying out the table they depart. Prospero. Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my Ariel, a grace it had devouring. He had a very convincing presence. Prospero is very happy with Ariel. Devouring. The word suggests that Ariel and his spirits may have removed the banquet by consuming it. Here, Prospero applauds Ariel and the other spirits and states that his enemies are now under his control. Ariel has obeyed. Of my instruction, every instruction hast thou nothing bated, omitted. You have obeyed all my instructions. You have acted in accordance with my instructions in what thou hadst to say. So with good life and observation, strange my meaner ministers their several kinds have done. Here, Prospero praises the rest of Ariel's actors for the spirited performances they have all given in their different ways. My high charms work, magic work. And these mine enemies, he calls them enemies, the three men of sin, are all knit up. What is the consequence of all these things? They are all knit up, that is, they are all absorbed, enthralled in their distractions. They are now in my power. Very important. And in these fits, I leave them while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned. So, Prospero will leave them here in this condition, in this mental condition, and he will visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine loved darling. He will visit young Ferdinand as well as his darling, that is Miranda. Exit above. Gonzalo, in the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare? Gonzalo is asking this question to Alonso. What is the condition of Alonso at this point of time? Alonso, oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. Repetition of the word monstrous for emphasis. Methought the billows spoke, the waves spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe. Here, thunder with notes like the deep. Alonso, oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. Methought the billows spoke, the waves spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, the deep and dreadful organ pipe. The thunder with notes like the deep pipe of an organ uttered the name of Prospero. It did bass my trespass, sing out the depths of my guilt in a bass voice. The waves and winds have taken their higher parts in this harmony of accusation. Very important. You will learn this section as well. Therefore, my son in the ooze is bedded, and I will seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded. Alonso is so bitter with remorse for the overthrow of Prospero, which he believes has caused the drowning of his son. He resolves to drown himself and runs off. Ooze is bedded. Ferdinand is drowned in the sea mud, and Prospero will seek him deeper than the sailors sounding lead, and in that mud he will also lie with him. Sebastian, but one fiend at a time, I will fight their legions over. What is Sebastian's reaction? Quite contrary to that of Alonso. Here, Sebastian will let the fiends come one at a time, and he would fight the whole regiment of them. Antonio, I will be thy second. Antonio also is not at all repentant. He will also support Sebastian. Exeunt Sebastian and Antonio. Gonzalo, all three of them are desperate, that is, dangerously reckless. Their great guilt, alliteration, like poison, a simile. Alliteration, simile. Given to work a great time after, now gins to bite the spirits. All of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison, which takes a long time to take effect, now begins to eat into their minds. I beseech you others who have nimbler limbs than I, follow them swiftly and prevent them from any rash act that this excitement may prompt them to do. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, the other people present, Francisco, Adrian, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy, this frenzy may now provoke them to. Adrian, follow, I pray you, all exeunt.